Jordan's geographical position is very strategic. It sits where continents meet. This has made it important for trade through all of history. Ancient caravans often traveled across these lands. They carried valuable goods like spices and silks. Managing these trade flows became necessary very early on. The idea of customs, therefore, has very deep roots here. It was essential for controlling what products came into the area. It also monitored what products went out. This region connected Asia, Africa, and Europe for many centuries. Early forms of duties and taxes on traded goods were established then. The Emirate of Transjordan was established in the year 1921. This was a very important step for the region. Formal government structures began to form. Customs became an official part of this new administration. The early government needed money to operate and build. Customs duties on imported goods were a main source of this income. The first rules for customs were quite simple. They focused mainly on basic control of goods. They also aimed at collecting revenue for the new state. This was the beginning of building state institutions for trade. After Jordan gained its full independence in 1946, the nation started to grow. Trade increased with many neighboring countries. This put more demand on the existing customs system. The government quickly recognized that customs was vital. It was very important for the economic stability of the young kingdom. It also helped to protect new local industries from too much foreign competition. There was a growing need for clearer rules. Traders needed more defined regulations to follow. This led to the gradual development of customs infrastructure and laws. The early vision for the customs system in Jordan was clear. It was primarily about collecting revenue for the state. It was also about controlling the nation's borders effectively. These functions helped the young nation to build itself. They supported its development projects. Most processes in these early days were manual. Customs officers checked goods carefully by hand. Paperwork was a very important and extensive part of the job. This early system, though basic, laid the essential groundwork. It prepared the way for many future changes and improvements. It was a necessary starting point for a new nation. In the early days, customs posts were quite basic in their setup. They were usually located at key border points. These points were where traders entered or left the country. Officers at these posts relied heavily on their personal experience. They also used their own judgment when assessing goods. There were very few detailed written guidelines at the beginning. The main objective was simple: to put a tax on incoming goods. This tax helped to fund many government activities. Traders had to declare all the items they were carrying. This declaration was often a verbal process, spoken directly to the officer. Resources for enforcement were limited. The first customs laws created were straightforward. They mainly listed various items. They also listed the tax rates for each of these items. These laws changed quite slowly over time. As trade volumes grew, more types of goods were added to the lists. The regulations themselves were not very complex. Enforcement of these rules depended a lot on the individual customs officers. This meant that officers had a good deal of power. Sometimes this made the system feel quite personal to the traders. The discretionary powers of officials were significant in daily operations. This could lead to some inconsistencies. Documentation during this period was almost entirely handwritten. Customs officers used large ledgers to record all transactions. This was a very slow process. It could also lead to mistakes in the records or calculations. All duty calculations were done manually by the officers. Traders needed to have a lot of patience. The entire customs clearance process could take a very long time. There were no computers or any advanced technological tools. Everything depended on the hard work of people. It also relied heavily on paper records. Proper storage of these numerous paper records was also a challenge. There were many common challenges in this early customs system. Smuggling was a persistent problem that officials tried to combat. Under-declaration of the value of goods also happened frequently. Traders might try to pay less tax this way. The government made continuous efforts to improve its controls. More customs officers were hired to manage the borders. The training provided to these new officers was quite basic. Despite all these difficulties, the system did function. It successfully provided the needed revenue for the state's budget. This era was an important learning period for Jordan's customs. A very important milestone was the Customs Law of 1962. This new law provided a much more comprehensive legal framework. It defined customs procedures much more clearly than before. It also carefully set out the rights and the duties of traders. This law aimed to standardize all customs operations across the entire country. It was a very big step towards creating a truly modern customs system. This law clearly showed Jordan's strong commitment. The commitment was to improving trade and its regulation. It formed the basis for many future legal reforms in customs. During the 1970s and 1980s, Jordan's economy experienced significant growth. International trade became much more important for the country. This growth led to even more pressure on the customs administration. The government fully realized the urgent need for greater efficiency. New specialized departments were created within the customs authority. This meant that specialization started to happen among staff. For example, new units were formed. These units focused on specific areas like goods valuation. Other units focused on anti-smuggling efforts or tariff classifications. This helped professionalize the customs staff. The introduction of the A-Saikuda system was a huge change. This happened mainly in the 1990s. A-Saikuda stands for Automated System for Customs Data. It was a computer-based system from the United Nations. It helped to automate many different customs processes. This new system greatly reduced the amount of paperwork. It also significantly shortened the processing times for goods. It was a very important technological leap forward for Jordan Customs. It also improved the accuracy of customs data. This was a key moment in modernization. Jordan joined the World Trade Organization in the year 2000. This membership brought about more significant changes to customs. Jordan had to align its customs laws and procedures. They needed to match international standards set by the WTO. This meant there had to be more transparency in all processes. It also meant that trade rules became more predictable for businesses. This helped to attract more foreign investment into Jordan. It made Jordan a more reliable and respected trading partner on the global stage. The country had to meet various commitments under WTO agreements. Today, Jordan Customs is a modern and efficient organization. It uses many advanced technologies in its daily operations. The Golden List program is a very good example of this. This program helps traders who have a good record of compliance. Their goods are cleared much faster through customs. This helps to speed up the overall trade process. It also allows customs officers to focus their attention. They can concentrate more on high-risk shipments. This makes the entire system much more efficient and secure. Risk-based approaches are now widely implemented. Technology is now at the very heart of customs operations in Jordan. Electronic payment systems are widely used by traders. This makes paying duties and fees much easier. Online declarations for goods are now common practice. Sophisticated risk management systems help to identify suspicious cargo. These systems use data to assess risk levels. X-ray scanners are used at many border posts and ports. These advanced tools help to improve security. They also make the clearance process faster and more accurate. Data analytics are increasingly used for better targeting of inspections. Jordan Customs works very closely with many international bodies. It maintains strong cooperation with the World Customs Organization. This cooperation helps in sharing best practices from around the world. It also helps in joint efforts to fight cross-border crime. Training for customs officers in Jordan is now very advanced. Officers learn about new technologies constantly. They also study updated international regulations. This ensures a high level of professionalism and integrity. Jordan also participates actively in various regional customs initiatives and agreements. The future of customs in Jordan looks very bright. There is a continuous and strong effort to improve processes. The main focus is on facilitating legitimate trade. This must be balanced with ensuring national security. New technologies like artificial intelligence might be used more. Blockchain technology is also being explored for supply chain security. The ultimate goal is to make customs clearance as seamless as possible. It should ideally be a paperless process. This will strongly support Jordan's ongoing economic growth. Jordan aims to be a regional leader in customs administration and trade facilitation. Thank you for watching. This video is brought to you by Hlaiyel Group Logistics.